and welcome to today's learning session on the use and adoption of artificial intelligence in business. My name's Dan Kerry, and it's fantastic to see so many business owners and managers here, curious and engaged and ready to explore one of the most transformative technologies of our time. We're living through a moment of rapid acceleration. AI is no longer a futuristic concept. It's here, it's embedded in the tools we use, the decisions we make, and the way we interact with our customers, employees, and markets. From automating routine tasks and unlocking new insights from data, AI has the potential to reshape how businesses operate and compete. But with great potential comes real responsibility. As leaders, we need to understand not just what AI can do, but how to adopt it wisely. That means asking the right questions. How do we ensure transparency and fairness? How do we protect jobs while enhancing productivity? How do we build trust with our teams, our customers, and ourselves? To help us navigate these questions, I'm delighted to introduce our speaker, Ram Viramoni. Ram is a seasoned technology leader and advisor to senior executives with over 17 years' experience driving digital transformation across industries. He led the digital architecture practice at one of the big four firms and has specialised in modern architecture-led business models, supply chain optimization, and emerging technologies including AI, blockchain, and quantum computing. Ram is also a certified agile leader and design thinking facilitator, known for his thought leadership and public speaking on global technology trends. He will guide us through the opportunities, challenges, and practical steps for integrating AI into our businesses in a way that's ethical, effective, and empowering. Ram, I'll throw over to you.
Thanks, Dan. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second part of the Generative AI Foundation, which is part of the AI for Leaders course. Though for those who have attended the first part, which we ran a couple of weeks ago, we did cover the basics of generative AI, the various aspects of how generative AI can be used in business, and various options that are available. Today, it's going to be more practical. We are going to look at the different AI models or AI engines that are available for you to use in a business environment. And then we are also going to look at some practical examples in terms of how you can apply AI in your business scenario. With that, without much ado, I will jump into today's session. For those who have not attended last week's sessions, it would be good to view the recording, which is available online. Karen can post in some links over there where you can view the recording later on to get holistic context. Today's recording will also be posted online so that you can view both together. Now, firstly, what we are going to look at is the different types of LLMs or large language models that are available. And we will also look at what is suitable for your business. Having said that, please do interrupt on the way of the session. If you have any questions, do put in your questions in the chat or reach out to one of the facilitators. They will be able to take the question and interrupt the flow so that we can have a discussion if it needs to be done that way. So there are two types of LLM, broad categories. LLM stands for large language models. As we saw in the first session, AI that we use today is primarily driven by deep neural networks, which are a specific technology of AI modeling, which are being fed with large amounts of English language data. That's why it is called large language models. When I say large, it's like really, really large. It's as much as a human being can consume in 1,000 lifetimes. That kind of data is fed into these AI engines, and they are pre-trained so that they have already consumed all the knowledge that humankind have created, and now they are able to apply the learnings from those data consumption to new scenarios. That's essentially what is happening, emulating human behavior and human knowledge and human thinking patterns over the last few millennia. Now, there are primarily two types: open source and proprietary. Open source is which a lot of developers, researchers have created so that it can benefit those who do not want to spend money on data. They essentially take all the freely available data in the internet and train uh, deep neural networks and provide you with open source models. It contains generic data, it contains unfiltered data, it contains no specialization, so to say. And the fact of the matter is that these are, though they are highly transparent because you know what data has gone into training them, it requires a lot of technical expertise to set them up. And you never know when you use it, what how your data is being exposed to as well. That is the limitations of open source LLM. But if you are doing a research project, if you are doing a public funded research project with publicly available data without any constraints, then an open source LLM might be sufficient, like an academic research. However, if you are looking at business environment, then we are primarily looking at proprietary large language models. They are actually owned by corporations like OpenAI or Google or Anthropic. And for high level features, they usually require paid access. They do have support and everything that comes with enterprise systems, including safety guardrails. So for your business environment, if any IT department person is telling you that we could use open source LLM, then you better confirm that the internal IT department or the service provider that you're planning to use have got the technical expertise to set it up, ensure that it's secure, and maintain it. Not that it cannot be done, but the recommendation would be always to align with one of the proprietary LLMs so that we are safer from day one. Moving on to the next slide. What I would like to do is request you to respond to a survey that you can see in the slide now. The question is around which AI models you use today. So whatever AI models you might be using, if you're not aware, you can respond not aware. If you are aware of what AI models are being used, you can call it out. I will give you 2 minutes to scan the QR code or click on the link that will be posted by Karen on the chat. You can either click on the link or you can scan the QR code to get into the link and respond to the question. I hope everyone have scanned the QR code. I'm going to open up the survey for your response. Let me know if you know more time to scan the QR code. Okay. All right.
They look similar to RAM to what you've seen before.
Yeah, they look pretty
Yes, right?
similar.
Pretty similar. Yep.
Yes, yes. I think we have got enough responses to see that the common thread that we see here is either ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or Gemini. Good. Let's look at what is available though in the context of LLMs in the market and what you're using for your business. Okay, there are three types of models available in the market. The first type is called small model or small language model, which are really fast, which don't cost a lot of money, and you could very much use for your simple tasks. Not many use this. Everyone is trying to utilize the best in class, even for simple tasks. Then there are the large language models, like the ones which you have called out. ChatGPT's GPT-5, Google's Gemini. In fact, Copilot uses in the backend ChatGPT's GPT-5 or one of the Microsoft internal models like 5.4 based on the data set that you put in there. So for most parts, GPT is the power behind Microsoft Copilot as well. There are models that Microsoft is evolving, which could probably be part of it later on. Then there is Grok 4, which is a new model, which is ranking really high on its performance. And there is Anthropic's Claude, which we will be using later today in our practicals. Now, I can sense from the response that most of you are not exposed to either Grok or Claude, but I would recommend you to at least look at the free versions to understand what it can do and do a comparative analysis of which model works best for you. Not as on a personal use case, but from a business use case. Then there are specialized models, right? There are legal models, there are code generators, there are healthcare models. I have put in a few examples, and in the future, based on your industry, there will be specific AI models. Think of them as specialist uh, PhDs with 1,000 years of PhD experience. That's what these models are. Now you're going to get them embedded in your business in the next couple of years, either directly or indirectly. That's going to happen. So it's good to be aware of these. You might not be directly working with these, but you will indirectly work with many of these in the future. That's how the landscape is looking like. The key message or the key intuition you want to take away from this particular slide is that ChatGPT Copilot is not the end of the world. There is more to explore and more to align based on your specific business needs so that you can utilize the AI capabilities that are available to the maximum. Are there any questions that you have on any of these before I go to the next slide? No?
None through the chat just yet, Ram, but I would ask one question. When you said comparative analysis,
Yeah.
do you just mean pose the same question to two models and
Correct.
just see what comes?
Correct. That could be a very simplistic way of looking at it, right? You can do, if you do at least that, you will get to know what is more aligned to your tone, your organization's brand, so on and so forth.
And I
Which
suppose a
one
more
are you
complex
able to
one,
find?
yeah, a
Exactly.
more complex one might be a data analytic question potentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay, I understand.
Yep. Okay. Excellent. So I will move on to the next slide. Now, we spoke about what different types of AI is available, but AI doesn't work well unless there is a human companion to guide it. That's a key message. And how much ever others might talk about autonomous AI, the reality of the AI capability that is available now means that you have a really good companion, digital companion, or a digital partner in your workplace. It's not that you're going to be replaced. So it's more about working with AI rather than not working and enabling AI to do everything. That's not the answer. So, what are the key skills? The first key skill that you might want to have is called prompt engineering, wherein this method is about how you talk to AI. Think of AI as a non emotional, non contextual, highly intelligent human with thousands of years of knowledge, instantly accessible knowledge. So it is non emotional, it's non contextual, and it doesn't actually have any empathy. So you need to put in all those elements to AI. And you might want to ensure that the way you put in those elements into AI is through instructing AI to behave in a certain way. That instruction is called prompt. It could be a very simple prompt: write me a paragraph of content that I can publish in LinkedIn. This is also a prompt. There you are giving it some context and you're asking it to do a certain task, but you're not giving it enough information, and you will be disappointed with the response that AI provides you, and you would say that this AI does not work for me. So in order to make whichever AI you're working with work for you, you need to be more specific, you need to provide context, and you need to experiment until you get the vibe of how you work with AI and how AI can understand your um, request or your output. So that's the first skill. The second skill is critical thinking and verification. Set aside time to ensure that you are checking every output that AI provides to ensure that there is bias, there is hallucination, and there is source verification. All of these verifications done before it goes out to your client. You don't want an AI output to go out to your client with wrong information. This has happened recently when a large consulting house provided a report to a government agency with made up links, made up um, research papers that AI created through what it calls as hallucination. A hallucination of an AI engine is essentially when AI doesn't find a response or answer in its database, it creates a response because it is a probabilistic engine. If there is no answer, no right answer, there might be a near right answer which I can provide, and it comes and creates a new one for you. So if it doesn't find a research paper on internet safety, it will create one, and it will create fake authors for that research paper, and it will publish that along with your deliverable that goes to your client. So, so do ensure that you verify every output that comes out of AI to at least until you're comfortable, to ensure that you're not passing on wrong information and you don't damage your reputation. The third key skill is ethics and responsible use. You are the ethical and responsible guardian of data, your customers' data, your own personal data when working with AI. Ensure that privacy is protected all the time. Ensure that there is fairness. Ensure that there is a clear guidance on what the AI usage policy, and it is well published to your customers. Your customers know when AI is used and when AI is not. So three key skills: prompt engineering, critical thinking, verification, and ethics and responsible AI use. Ensure that every team member in your organization, along with yourself, is equipped with these three skills, because these are going to be the three most important skills which is going to distinguish you from other organizations in the near future, in the next 3 years. So if you don't want to train your organization in technicalities of AI, you can at least train them in these three and develop this over time. Some of these don't come naturally, because we all have input our client email into ChatGPT to get a response. None of us have not done it, but that is not an ethical use of AI. So let's look at some of these in our practice examples as well. Any questions on the key skills that you need for AI?
Just as yet, Ram, but I'll put the prompt if people, please feel free to put questions through the chat.
No problem. Thank you. All right. So then other skills is know about AI tools. This is not mandatory, but it is good to have. The more you have, more distinguished can your organization be from others. How your organization uses various AI tools instead of just ChatGPT and Copilot to create a value proposition. Then data stewardship. Your data is your asset. It is more valuable than it was ever before. How can you utilize your organization's data to create specialized, unique AI models, which is going to be your asset? I know organizations who have got 80 pages of prompts, which is their asset. That is their unique value proposition. Nobody else has that prompt. 80 pages of clearly well-defined instructions for AI to behave in a certain way. And with that, they are telling their customers, we've got a unique way to make AI work, and this will give you the result. So that 80 page of English language text is their most valuable asset and most valuable differentiator. Some other organization has got a fine-tuned AI model with their data, which becomes their unique asset. They go to their customers and say, we've got unique AI, which is fine-tuned to behave in your specific workspace. So that's their asset. Think about that. And that it is a journey. You can't do it tomorrow. You'll have to plan for it. Adaptability and learning. Again, this is a highly dynamic field. It's changing every day. I got a feedback for one of the tools that we had put together today morning from one of my colleagues, that the tool does not list ChatGPT version 5, which was released last month, in a pickup list. It only lists ChatGPT 4.5. I realized, wow, every month things are changing and the pickup list has to be continuously updated. So it is that agile, and you need to be adaptable and you need to be learning so that you don't miss out on something that your competitor is picking up. So these are other essential skills. But before you get here, ensure that your baseline foundational mandatory skills are in place. There'll be personnel with different levels of maturity in your organization. Bring them all to the same level and increase your organization's level of maturity rather than creating different non-aligned structures within your organization. Now we will go on to the most interesting part of today, which is practice and application. Okay, for practice and application, I'm going to use a tool called Claude. I don't know how many of you are exposed to it. It is like ChatGPT, but it is no frills ChatGPT. It has got very specific focus on giving uh, very clear AI outputs without much distraction. For the first practice, what I would do is I would perform this activity of email drafting in a Claude environment. So what I'm doing is I'm a project manager who needs to announce a new work from home policy to my team. So I'm going to ask AI to draft an email. Let's see how good it is, right? I'm going to go without, I'm going to simple prompt. Hey, I want to send out an email to my team on new WFH policy. Can you write one? This is our usual way of interacting with AI. And you can see there are several models which I can choose from. I'm using the smartest, fastest one, which is called Sonnet 4.5. And here, what I could do is I can add more tools if I want. I can actually add web search, I can add Google Drive search, and I can add many other tools through a method called MCP, which is slightly advanced for the level of course that we are running now. Now, what I will do is I will go and look at the basic stuff. So it's asking me another question, right? No, just write me an email, which is good, right? It asked me a few questions, which kind of will get you thinking. So it is putting it through its thinking engine and yeah, make it up. So it has written me an email, right? It says, hi team, I wanted to share an update about our work arrangements moving forward. Starting 1st of December, we'll be implementing a new hybrid work that offers flexibility while maintaining our collaborative culture. Key details. Team members can work up to 3 days per week from home. We ask that everyone be in office on Tuesdays and Thursdays for team collaboration. The remaining days flexible based on your schedule. Please update your calendar to reflect your work from home days. All existing expectations around availability communication will remain the same. If you have any questions or need to discuss specific circumstances, please reach out to me directly, and looking forward to the new arrangement. So this is what it does, basic out of the box. I didn't give it any instructions. This looks really cold, inconsiderate, and to the point. Maybe this works in certain environments, but if you really care about your team, you wouldn't send this, would you? So let's look at what can be done. What changes? What should we change? When I look at this, I would probably give more context around why we are doing this and what is the benefit of doing it and how we can be flexible with the team. I will also try to bring in the compassionate element of the organizations, which is a workplace which cares, and that care has to appear in the email. At the same time, I want to ensure that the purpose of the new policy is not lost and there is adherence to that policy to its maximum possible extent. So what I will do is I will use a new method called crisp prompt technique. This is something that you can all use for your prompting. So what does crisp prompt stand for? It stands for context, First, you set the context to AI as to why you're doing it. Or what are you trying to do? What you do, what you want AI to do. Role. What is the role that you want the model to play, the AI model to play? What is the voice? What is the perspective and what is the authority of the writer? I'm a project manager. That's the role. It's not the CEO of the company. And the second one, the third one is intent. Clarifies the purpose of the outcome, purpose and outcome of what you were trying to achieve. It specifically is the instructions that you want to provide AI on the method to use. And S stands for steps or specifications, where you want to give a clear sequence of activity and structure that AI should use. And finally, you need to provide some parameters as to how you want the output to look like, the tone, the format, the length, and examples. You might want to give it some examples as to sample phrases that you might want to include in the particular chat, particular email that you want to get out of it. So let's try a better version. I'm not going to go and do all of it today. Probably I will give it some context, set some role, and give it some examples. So first I will say context. You are a project manager. Sorry, that's the role. You are drafting an email to inform the work from home policy to your team. Then the next one is role. You are the project manager of the team. And if you want to add more context around how your company is and what is the company aspect, you can either do it here or save it as a permanent instruction in the backend. That is another place to do it. Then you're giving some examples. So I do have an example email which I have written, which I will put as a sample from the past example. Email should be like this. Please write a new one. Once I have given this, let's see what it does, right? Now it kind of gives in the compassionate nature and the expectation, what has not changed, what happens like next, and it also is considerate that I recognize that any change to the established routine can feel disruptive, and I want to know that your concerns and questions are valid and welcome. So it puts in a totally new tone to the email just by setting more context and giving it some examples from the past that you would have done, COMC that you would have. So remember to use the crisp prompting techniques every time you prompt for anything. Once you start doing it, it need not be super elaborate. Give enough context, give enough information on the role you want AI to play. If possible, provide an intent, provide clear steps, and provide clear parameters, and definitely provide one or two examples. So there is 3 short prompting, which means 3 examples. So if you give 3 examples, that's considered really good. Too many examples is also not that useful. Any questions on the prompting techniques? So you can start practicing this from today itself and probably get more out of the AI tool that you're using, whether it is Copilot or ChatGPT or Gemini. This method works with any of those tools. The key thing is that you think before you put in the prompt, write the crisp, type it in, and then copy paste into the chat and then send it out.
It
The
certainly
next,
seems like a structured way to get to what you're looking for more quickly.
absolutely. And yeah, considering that AI doesn't have any context, doesn't have any empathy, and doesn't have any performance criteria that it can set itself, you need to do it for it. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. If there are any questions, I can take that. Otherwise, I'll move on to the next one. Now, the second activity is an ethics role play, right? Where we want to think about the dilemma that we all go through when we have this amazing tool in front of us and we have a pathway to get an output as quickly as possible. Should we do it or not? So, an employee wants to use a public AI tool to analyze confidential client data set to find insights quickly. But that employee's company policy forbids sharing sensitive data with external AI systems. What, what would you do in that context? This is more of a brainstorming. You can provide your response in the chat around key discussion point. What are the risks of using public AI with what you have seen, right? Public AI means AI tools which are not restricted to your own organization security perimeters. So, for example, unpaid version of ChatGPT is considered public AI. A paid version of ChatGPT with data sharing is also public AI. A paid version of ChatGPT for your business with no data sharing and only data consumption within your organization is considered a private AI environment for your information. So based on what you're using, you know that a public version of ChatGPT, a public version of, or non-paid version of ChatGPT, a non-paid version of Gemini, or even Copilot is considered a public AI. So what are the specific risks? What alternatives could work? How can you communicate policy requirements effectively without discouraging innovation? Put your thoughts through in the chat and we will discuss it towards the end. While you put in your thoughts, I'll probably go on to the next activity. Is this activity clear to anyone? Everyone? If anyone has any questions, please raise it now.
Ram, I thought I would just pose one question that's come through from Minil Taylor on the chat.
Yep.
We've been told that we can use Copilot with company data.
Yes.
I hope this still keeps data confidential, is the question they're asking.
If your company policy is that, then yes, you can do that. But the only way you would know whether the data is confidential is based on the environment of Copilot that you use. Right? Whether it is hosted in Australia, yes or no, whether the data uses internet, then whether Copilot uses internet, and on the third aspect, whether your data is being used to train Copilot and the models behind it. These are three questions. Most likely the answer will be that it is safe because your organization would have done the due diligence. If not, that is the thing that you need to ask your IT team to ensure that the due diligence is done, that all the data that goes in is safe. It is better to ask that question rather than not. So I would recommend you go and ask the question to your IT team. If you get a very convincing answer, why not? Feel free to use it.
Yeah, it sounds pretty critical though.
It is.
I think if I was going to use confidential data, I wouldn't just want to have a verbal conversation. I'd want at least, just at least an email to say, yes,
Correct.
you can do that because the ramifications could be extreme.
And it's always a good practice to anonymize the data by redacting actual names. I know it takes maybe 5 more minutes, but it's good extra 5 minutes spent
Yeah,
rather than copy pasting the email as is into Copilot or uploading the um, proposal document as is into Copilot. It is definitely good to either secure it internally and then upload the documents as is, or if it is a generic Copilot environment, anonymize it as much as possible.
yep.
Yep. If there are no other questions, then I will move on to the next one. This is again a quiz. I would request all of you to look at this, scan this QR code or click on that URL and respond to this multiple choice question. The question is, which of the following can today's AI, with what you've learned today, do without human help? Suggest 3 possible project names based on a summary. Decide to approve or reject a complex project proposal. Translate a product description from English to Spanish. Accurately predict next year's stock market movements.
Ram, am I allowed to select more than one?
Yeah, I think you are not. You would
Yeah, I think
be.
it's letting me pick one.
Yeah, you can pick only one,
Okay.
but more than one can be accurate. But this is just a test to
Pick the
for you
most.
to pick one. Yeah,
Yeah, pick one that definitely is correct. I get it. I
correct.
get
Yeah.
it. Yep, 100% correct. Okay.
All right. Let's go and quickly take a look at the responses that have come through. Okay, suggest 3 possible project names and translate a project description. Brilliant. I think you guys have gotten it spot on. These are the 2 things that AI could do reliably. And the other 2, you definitely need a human in the middle. Excellent. Then I'll go on to the next question. Again, this is a 2-part question. There are 2 statements which you will have to use the next carousel, or you can swipe right to go to the next question in this scanned URL and then respond to these 2 ethics and policy questions. It should be straightforward, but let's see. So the first scenario is it's fine to input customer emails into ChatGPT to have it draft personalized replies since it's a really helpful tool. If AI writes most of the report, you should still review it and possibly disclose that AI assisted is in the content. You go to the responses again. So for the first question, we're getting the trend is actually correct, that it is not okay to input your customer emails as is into ChatGPT and ask it to draft personalized replies. You have to redact it first to ensure that the customer's personal information and any sensitive data is not exposed. And in the second one, yes, that is true. You need to review it all the time, and you also need to be transparent about it with your customers. Yeah, that's probably what it is. And wrapping up today's session, think of AI as a powerful partner, not a magic solution. It cannot solve all your problems. It is a powerful partner. You need to work with it. And your expertise, human expertise, is more valuable than ever. Your critical thinking, your contextual understanding, and ethical judgment is going to ensure that AI is safe for the future of our kids. Then the advantage goes to those who adapt, essentially. You need to keep yourself updated through sessions like this one to ensure that there are a lot of AI scenarios out there. Which one do you want to use and how you want to run it? So I will leave you with these three phrases.